You are now tuned in to the Gifted Gab.
We got shit. We got you.
That kid chocolate in the cut. You knew from the jump this is what you wanted to do.
It's all passion.
It's all passion.
If you got passion for something, you know, it'll come. Patience and passion, the two P's, brother.
Why wrestling and not pool?
I ain't good at pool, brother. Not like this. Wrestling, you know, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different game. I don't know if wrestling was one of those things I was good at from the jump, bro. It's like the funny thing about wrestling is if you have any like athletic background and like really good athletic background, you'll have an easy transition into it, you know. And I was always one of those guys that you know, my ears were open, my mouth shut, the right time, you know. Just listen. Oh, you got that one. That's all.
Nobody caught that. You caught that? I scratched it.
It's all good. But yeah, it's like all it is like, you know, you just, when the right time comes, you just gotta shut up and listen. And you never know who sees that shit. Oh man, that was tough for me.
What does it mean for, you know, as a Somali?
Bro, not only Somali, bro. You know where I come from, bro.
Yeah.
I was a refugee, bro. I come from this place called Kakuma down in Kenya, bro. It's like just me and my mom. You know, single parent. You know, since I was like, me and my mom only thing up until I was like 9, bro. You know, it was like crazy. It was a refugee camp, and I know the idea of when people hear this, they hear a refugee camp and it's like safe and all that stuff. It wasn't safe. It was like all the people that ran away was like hungry by grown men. Just to protect me, you know. You know me, man. I was hard-headed, even here.
How many people do you hear say, I want to be a wrestler? Right? Not many. You know? For most people, it's a pipe dream, but here's a guy doing it. You know, like literally living it. You know, like you've been on the stage. You know, you're so close. You're gonna get there. You know, you're there practically. It takes patience. You know, but for so many people tell us that, you know, oh, be realistic. Oh,
she asked us in class, like, hey, what's everybody? She went around, you know, what are you gonna be? What are you gonna be? And I remember she came up to me, she's like, what are you gonna be? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a wrestler one day. And legit, she laughed. She didn't even say nothing else. She just laughed at me and kept going. And I'd love to see that like today. I'd love to laugh at her and point at her today. It's this, and you're like, no, I believe this guy. You and Bar's like, I believe him. And they're like, no, we don't believe him. He's like, I think, honest to God, I think you and Bars were the only two guys that, at that time, at that stage at least, were like, yeah, this guy can do it, or I believe this guy has done it, or did something. Everybody else was like, this guy weighs about, you know, $110. If he's lucky. If he's lucky, you know, he's lucky. If he's lucky, soaking wet, $110. I don't see it. And I did. The day I went to wrestling school, I weighed, there's a wrestling school actually, but you know, this is how you learn everything. But I weighed like 122, something like that. And it was like, my shirts were like, I looked like Biggie in my shirts, it was like baggy and stuff like that. But it was like, yeah, man, at that time I did it, and it was like everything. And even my coach was at the end of it, so like it was like 3 months. After 3 months, you get like a evaluation of like what the coach would say, hey man, you can do this, or hey, you shouldn't be doing this, whatever. I remember he went around the class and he said, you can do this, you can't do this, you should never do this. And I remember he came up to me and said, hey, man, so you have everything you need to do this. He's like, you have a personality. He's like, I have every faith that you can do this. He's like, the only problem is you're small. Go put some weight on. And if you do, he's like, just go get experience and hopefully we'll see what you can do in whatever the time period is. And it's like, so from then and now, all I've been pushing is just to trying to put size on and, take.
Because it's something you can control.
Yeah, it's like, it's all work, man. It's legit, like you said, it's something I can control. So it's like, I put in my head, it's like, if the time ever came where it had to, I wanna put this all on me, right? If, let's say, I always say this in my head, but it's like 10, 20 years from now, if there was ever a time if I didn't make it in wrestling, and someone asked me, why didn't you make it? I wanted it to be my fault. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like, oh, that guy didn't pick me because he picked that guy. No, it was like, oh, I didn't work hard enough. So I cover that base in terms of working as hard as I can today. And it's like, so 20 years from now, if the case, or 10 years, or whatever the case is, I worked as hard as I can. It just didn't happen, right? That's the mentality. I want to be satisfied. Hey, I worked hard.
You die on that hill.
Exactly. Exactly.
You die on that hill.
Yeah, so it's like, it's easy. Just work hard and then rest will come, brother. Ooh.
We're here. We're back.
Yes, sir. My guy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this
Okay.
one.
Little game of pool just to warm us up.
I got to put it on. Killed Alex.
We're not talking about pool. This podcast isn't about pool. Anyways.
We'll let it be. We'll let it be.
So, yo, like, who's your inspiration?
In terms of what?
Wrestling, man.
Oh,
Life
man.
in general.
If it was life, it'd be my mom. If it was life, it'd be my mom. My mom, bro, is like, it's funny, man. It's like, you'd actually be a good guy to tell this to, but it's like, I have like 2 younger siblings that grew up in this country. One actually was born in this country, my baby sister. It's like, I think she's 11 or 12 now. But my brother came to Canada. When we came to Canada, my brother was about, I would say 2. Just about 2 or going into 3. But it's like, I got to see my brother grow up here, and it's like, life is, bro, my brother wouldn't even slap a fly off his chest or his shoulder. It's like, it's weird, but like where I see he's about 15 or 16 now, but it's like when I was in Africa, we came to Canada when I was about 11. I think, I was 10 turning 11 or 11 turning 12. Can't really get that right, but fucking, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you good.
But
turn your mic up a little bit.
Okay,
If you want to swear.
But it's crazy. It's like, bro, when I was like age 5, 6 to 7, I think those ages for me was equivalent to what my brother is right now at 16, because of the lifestyle, how we were raised, or what we had to, see, or how fast we had to grow, where we come from, or where I was at that time. So it's like, at 5, what my brother, how the mentality my brother has now, at, not just my brother, but any kid at his age right now, the mentality, unless it's like one of those, like, living in the hood, or like, crazy kids, is like a simple kid in Canada or anywhere on this side of the world. It's like, at the mentality they have at age 15, 16 is the mentality I had at 6, 7. It's like, I was a rebel, bro. I was like,
You had to grow up fast.
Fast, bro. I remember my mom lived at, or both of us. I was born in a refugee camp down in Kakuma refugee camp down in Kenya, and it was my mom for 13 years. Yeah, 13 years. Every day, my mom had the same routine. She would wake up 4 or 5 in the morning, walk, God knows how long, like 2-3 hours to go to the UN. I wouldn't even say embassy, but like their setup down at the camp. Just to tell them that her case, or her
situation.
she would tell her like, hey, this is how I live. I'm a single mother, you know, in a place where it was where we could, especially in that camp, it was brutal, man. It was like if you weren't 10, 15 deep in terms of your husband, your brother, your sister, your mom, if you weren't deep, you were a weak link. Everybody look at you. Everybody, it was kill or be killed. You know what I mean? Everybody look at each other like, for me to survive, if the situation had to be, that's the guy I would go after. You know what I mean? So for my mom, who was, everybody be like, that's the one right there. It'd be her and her son, that's it. And so it's my mom. I've seen my mom get beat up by like groups of women. Because also my mom was very opinionated. My mom she would tell people how she felt. She never held anything. It was like what she see, how she's seen things is how she would lay it. So it was, I was getting
kind of like you.
Yeah. You know me more. Yeah, kind of like very much so. But it was like, but yeah, my mom was, and in our culture of, I don't know how your culture is, but similar. I'm assuming, but it's like people don't want to, you tell people how it is in this world, in this side of the world.
Yeah, period.
People would respect it, be like, okay, yeah. That's your opinion. We'll F off and walk away. But over there, it's like, oh, you think I'm this? Okay. Come back with like 3 sisters, their mom, and their brother, and they beat the living. So I've seen a lot of. My mom went through a lot, and for her to take it to the, she'll take it on her chin and dust herself up, and grab me by the hand and walk away, and be like, all right, tomorrow's a new day. And it's like I've seen my mom do that for 10 years, and it was like, and it was it's crazy, man. It was like, so for me, it was like I've seen a lot. I've seen everything there's absolutely like nothing you can tell me and I haven't seen. Like I've seen dead people. I've seen, I remember at 5 years old, this guy who his sister, you're a Muslim brother, so you would know our religion and our situation, but this guy whose sister was a bit, friendly with other guys, not saying like in a bad way. She was a friendly person. She had guy friends, not boyfriends, but guy friends. And in our religion and our culture, that's not how you go about things. And especially there's some worse. So that's our culture, our religion, being Africans in terms of when I'm saying culture. But then being Somali, it's a whole different world.
Yep.
Right. So it's and Somalians in general, it's reputation is everything. To them, they live and die by reputation. What you think, and what anybody thinks to them is that's how they live. So it's like this guy who's getting up every day, who's getting fingers pointed at him, saying, "Hey, man, I seen your sister yesterday. She was with 2 guys. They're her friends. They're not no harm being done over there." But it was like, so he finally had a word with his sister, kind of like, "Hey, man, you're giving our family a bad name. Relax." The girl laid that information to the guys, and those guys visited the brother and shot him right in the head. And it was the next door to us. And I remember we heard the gunshot. Here, you would close your door or you'd hide. Over there, everybody ran to see the situation. I remember this guy's brain, like I'll never forget. It was right to my feet. His brain was bleeding right on our feet. It was like, so I seen things like that, and I can tell you stories about it all day, but it's crazy. So like, I grew up in a kill or be killed situation or like lifestyle. So when we came here, it's
not like that.
It's not like that, and it's not only is it like that. It's like there's opportunities, and also where I come from, which is a crazy thing, which is another thing. My inspiration being my mom is like, people go there, they flee their countries, especially in this camp we were at. It was Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Burundi, Congo. Like those were the majority of people that were there. Those people would come there, and it's like unless you had unless you were, my mom would be a good example to use. Unless you were like someone like my mom, you would just have kids. You would live your life there because it wasn't the war you just came from. So to you, it was comfortable. To you, this is it. Your kids would have kids. This is this is generations to this day. The people will just have kids and kids and kids. Won't have any hope of going anywhere. So for people, for where I come from, it's like people it's life over there. No one ever thinks of, hey, maybe we should give ourselves chances or opportunities by one day maybe immigrating ourselves to, North America or anywhere, UK or Europe or whatever. So it's like my mom to have that vision and to have that patience and to have that grind. And, it's so much, people always ask me like where I get that like drive of like grinding or like working really hard. It comes from her because I remember all that. Like it's not something that when I came to Canada, my mom had to tell me the story of. My mom was like, "Oh man, I did this." No, I remember. I lived it. I've seen it all. So it's like, so when we come here and it's like, instead of my mom this is what my mom would have liked, get an education, become, what every African parent,
Doctor.
Yeah. It's like
I'd never let you operate on me. But
I wouldn't, I wouldn't operate on anybody. I wouldn't operate on a potato, bro. But it's like that's what my mom would have loved. That's her vision. That's what she's seen when she was back in the camp. That's what she wasn't grinding for herself. She was grinding for me.
Our parents never.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah. So exactly. So for her to do all that, and to me, I come from a place where I've seen, my whole life was violence. My whole life, I had to, dude. You can see you can see the scars on my face. My whole life, I fought every day of my life. I fought, But it's like to come here, the typical thing. There was no school back there, so I was outside all day, bro. So for me to be here and go to school all day is like, it's terrible. It wasn't a good feeling. It's like I'm like in a prison. Yeah, I was in a prison. So like, for me to finally, when I graduated high school, I'm like, even before high school, like in junior high, I wanted to be. So I had this. I've always watched wrestling and I always wanted it. And it was like, sounds funny, but it was like the closest thing to violence. It was like the UFC, like UFC is pretty big now. The world knows about UFC now, but back when we came to Canada or 06 or 7-ish, it wasn't as big as it is now. It was a thing, but it wasn't as big as it is now, right? WWE on the other side was huge. So to me, I was like, oh, that must be real. I didn't know it was fake or real. I was like, that must be that's what I want to do. It's like I came from Kenya where I was fighting every day. This would be perfect for me. Right? So it was like, that was what I wanted to be. And then life went on. I grew up, went to school, junior high, whatever, high school, and, played ball, whatever the situation was. But at the end of the day, when I got home, that was where I came back to. It was like, that's it. So finally, when I finished school, it was like, I know what I want to be. I've always known what I wanted to be since I was like 5 years old. It's like, I wanted to fight. And this is the only way I can do it without getting my head kicked. I really wouldn't want to be in a, cage with John Jones and get my head kicked or something like that. But this is the closest thing to it without getting my head kicked. And it's like, this is what I do now. Yeah.
And then when you came and you were watching TV, you were watching WWE, who was the person?
Oh, man, that's easy. That's Randy Orton, man.
Randy Orton?
That's my guy.
RKO?
Oh, my God. That's the GOAT. That's the GOAT, man. I have this little funny story. I went to, I was in New York, 2019, right? Because the whole last year was what it was. But April 2019, I was in New York for WrestleMania and stuff like that. And WWE usually rents a whole hotel for their wrestlers, their families, employees, all that thing. So one WWE, and it's like, they get security, cops, police, dogs, whatever, just like if the president was in that hotel type of thing. So my connection, obviously, with like Bret and all those guys got me in there. So it was like I had access to go in there, whatever. So they do the night of WrestleMania, they have a WrestleMania after party, right? So it's like you have to have access. You have to have like a wristband. Right, so you go to this thing. I had a wristband, and I go to this thingy, and it's like anybody you can name is there. Randy Orton's there, Rey Mysterio's there, name it, it's
Triple
there.
H.
Everybody's there, right? So it's like I remember, like at this point, I've seen that couple of years prior, I've been to 3 times. I've been to that party 2 times, 3 times. So I wasn't struck like the first time. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, there's that guy. I've seen him before. I'm cool. You know, let me chill.
You're chilling.
Yeah. The one guy, it didn't matter if I seen him multiple times or first time, was Randy Orton, where I'd be like, that's Randy Orton. That's the man. So it was like, you know, a few beverages, whatever the case might be. But what's it called? There was like a dance floor. We were dancing, and like I can hear someone. It was like a group of black people. It was myself, a couple of like WWE stars that were of color. Like we were dancing, we were like teach me how to Dougie, whatever the situation would be. All the white people kind of stood on the side, were like, what the hell are these guys doing, whatever. They were like cheering us on, whatever. And I swear to God, I'm like chilling. I can, from just the side of my eye, I see someone just bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, I look over and I'm like, oh shit, that's Randy Orton. I was like, that guy's clapping for this dance battle I'm in. I'm like, all right, I'm cool, whatever. We do our thing. And then after it was finished, I kind of like I go towards him, and it was him and his wife dancing, and I like went up to his wife, and I'm like, hey, I was like, I don't want to, I'm not an idiot here or anything. I don't want to disrespect you, you know. This is your time with your husband and stuff like that. But this is like literally my hero. This is, for you, would be Kobe Bryant or a situation, whatever. But you know, this is the guy. And I remember he like laughed. He was like, yeah. He was like kind of like, he was like poking me. Or he's like, yeah, you know, why am I, you know, your favorite or whatever. We had a little conversation. I'm like, told him, and he's like, well, you know what? He's like, I can see like I passed his little test. It was like real good. And he's like, let's get a picture, man. He's like, he like took my phone and we got a picture, and I still have this picture. It was like one of the sweetest pictures. It was cool, man. But it was like, I got to talk to this guy. I'm like, yo, man, I like for a good 10 minutes I talked to this guy, and I was telling him like, yo, man, I ain't supposed to be here with you right now. I ain't supposed to be standing in front of you telling you you're my favorite wrestler. I'm just some kid I'm just a refugee kid from Kenya, man. I'm in Times Square, New York, you know, and did some show in New Jersey the night before. I was like, I'm not supposed to be here, but I am. And he's like, and he like, I can see his eyes back up, like, holy shit. You know, this guy's just not an ordinary fan type of thing. It's like, so he like gave me the time to talk and stuff like that. And funny enough, that was in April. I seen him in August in Toronto when I did the SummerSlam, and like, I like seen him in catering. And I'm like, yo, what's up? And he like remembered me, and he's like, yo, what's up? We talked for a bit and stuff like that. And like gave me advice, whatever. And then we went our ways, never said nothing to him. And then I seen him again last February in Winnipeg. I did like a WWE tryout thing over there. And he like, yo, he's like, I was walking down the hallway, all I hear is big boy. And I look back and I seen him coming, and I didn't know what to do. My hands got pretty sweaty. I'm like, shit. I'm like, yeah, what do I do? And anyway, like, gave him like an awkward handshake and everything. It was like good. And he's like, remember, he says to me, remember the advice I gave you? I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I was like, I thought talking to you like whatever. It was just, I wasn't thinking, man. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, make money, don't get hurt. I'm like, what? He's like, the only advice I give you is make money, don't get hurt. I'm like, okay, whatever that means. I was like, I got you. He's like, and it is true. He's like, just don't be stupid, pretty much is what he was saying. But it was like, so yeah, don't get hurt. And he's like, the whole point of this is to make money. It's like, make money. And I'm like, oh, damn. I'm like, this guy's the coolest guy ever, man. This is my favorite wrestler ever. But it was like, that to me was like mind-blowing. And I got to like my favorite wrestler ever, like knows me, like not name-wise or not, but if he sees me, be like, oh, I know this guy. Right? So it was like, he gets to talk to me and like tells me, you know, advice and stuff like that. So it was like, you know, that to me is mind blowing in general. Like, that's the guy every Monday or every Friday I would run as fast as I can from school to try to catch Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, not to watch the show, but to watch Randy Orton. It was like, so it was like, to me, it was mind blowing. And these shows, you can do pretty much anything if you just, you know, if you just work hard and put your mind to it.
Idols become your rivals, right?
Yeah, crazy, man, crazy.
That's powerful,
Yeah,
man. That's powerful. So what's next for Mo?
Man, for me, I think from here is just everything I've done, at least to get to this point I am right now, just keep doing it. And my goal at this point is just to get to WWE, and it's like I can see the end of the tunnel. You know, I can see the end of the tunnel, and it's just keep walking towards the light, and it's just patience. My feet might hurt walking towards the end of the tunnel, but
Last time I seen you at your show, you were freaking
I'll get there, but it's
limping, man.
it was that's another thing, is like when the difference between anybody who's just trying to, we call them like weekend warriors. It's like just the typical, like, he wants to do it Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, Monday to the following Thursday or the following Friday. They're just a father or typical 9 to 5 guys, which is all of us are at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like none of us are I work 9 to 5 every day. Like obviously this pandemic not, but like before I was, but it was like but the difference between me and those guys is like every time I got in there, I got to impress somebody, who you never know who's watching what you're doing. So I went hard regardless,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you don't know, this stuff is getting recorded. You don't know how far it goes. You don't know who's going to see it, so you just got to give it all. So it's like, I never really, obviously do it safe. This is like, it's an art. It's an art, so do it, safe and don't hurt nobody, but go hard. I've always done it like that. So it's like, so the following week of the weekend I just wrestled, I'd always be limping and whatever. So because I put it all in on the line, rather,
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is.
And I assume that you're the youngest guy in every room at this point.
Most of the places, yeah. It's like, unless it's just like a son of somebody who's just doing what I was doing 5 years ago, just paying their dues, whether it's like setting the chairs, setting up the ring. You'll see a lot of guys that are younger than me in that aspect, but in terms of like wrestling, yeah, a lot of them are. I'm most in every locker room. I'd say I'm the youngest in most locker rooms. Yeah, it's a good feeling too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's weird business. You just got to work hard, bro. It's like I was telling you earlier. I was whipping your ass on pool, but
I was talking about. But go ahead.
but it was like a lot of politics. You just got to get yourself out of it, and it's a good thing when you do, because other people notice. It's like people, especially people that have the same mindset as me. They're like, okay, I'm gonna stay out of this. They're like, oh, that guy's the same as me, and it's like typically those are the ones that succeed. The ones that politic usually get what they want so fast and so easy that
they don't know how to maintain it.
Especially when you get them out of that place. You put them. What do you call it? What's the saying? They say, what is it?
Comfort zone.
Something. It was something in the pond. Small fish in a, what is it?
What's the saying? Small fish in a big pond. Big fish in a small.
It's something
small
like that saying, but it was like most of these guys are the big fish in the pond. Small pond, and then you put them in other ponds where there's other big fishes. They shrink, and it's like they're small fishes there, and they don't know what to do, because now it's like all they ever done was like, they just sat next to the promoter, and it's like, hey man, get me in this. So like now you throw them in a place where all these guys are really good, and the promoter doesn't really give a fuck whether you bring them beer or whatever, and you tell them, hey, maybe I sold 5 tickets today, dude. It's like they don't give a fuck. It's like the promoter has 4 guys that will sell tickets without selling tickets. They just sell tickets by being on the poster. So why does he care about this guy who just sold 4 tickets to his friends? He clearly doesn't drive, but he just sold tickets to his mom, his dad, his girlfriend, his little nephew, and it's like, oh man, I sold you, 4 tickets. Yeah, well, those guys will never come back after tonight. But this guy, it's weird. But yeah, those guys are usually like the guys that shrink because they're used to being in Calgary or being in Edmonton or being in this little small pond, or like this small pond where they're the big guy, walking with their chest up, and then you throw them somewhere else. It's like, whoa, shit. I didn't know it was like this. But people like me, you can take him and throw him in any pond, and I'll figure it out.
You have a mentor?
Right now, I have a few, man. It's they're bigger than each other. I have this guy actually who, before I had all these other guys, I have this guy. He actually moved to Liverpool. He literally just got signed to WWE about a month ago. His name is Tony Gill. Yeah, I think you've met Tony.
Oh yeah, I remember. I met Tony.
Yeah. He just got signed to WWE. Actually, good guy. But he was my first, not even mentor, but he was where I am right now in terms of like just picking up the business. But I was setting up chairs and no one was giving me the time of day in terms of saying this is how this works. But everything that someone told him, he would throw it to me, right? So I was learning from his point of view. So like anytime he learned something from somebody that was good enough, he'd be like, "Yo, dude, this is what I learned today," you know. And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll get it down." So like that was my first mentor. I think he helped me so much, and he would take me to shows with him. It's places I didn't belong. He would take me with him, and and that's how I picked up so much, I think. But there's him. There's my other friend Gama Jr. And then there's Jinder Mahal. He was just WWE. He's from Calgary. He was just WWE champion, which is wild. Jinder Mahal, and then there's Tyson Kidd, who's another WWE guy. And then above all, there's this guy who's the excellence of execution, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Bret Hart. That's another really good mentor of mine, and he's I don't know, man. It's for him, and I actually speak so highly of him and his family, man. It's like I'm a nobody to them, especially him. It's like for him to not only be my mentor, but it's like let me in his house and welcome me like his like a family. I'm Christmases, barbecues, whatever the situation is, they're always invited, and it's like, and this is like for anybody, like but it's like this is today's world of my LeBron and Jordan, Bret and Sean.
Facts.
In professional wrestling, it was Bret and Sean.
Greatest rivalry, it's the greatest rivalry of all time.
I'm actually wearing it, Bret and Sean. It's the rival jacket, but it's like, yeah, that's if you ask anybody in wrestling who the greatest wrestlers of all time were, of course, popularity-wise, you'll get Hogan, you'll get Steve,
maybe
Austin, The Rock will be in that. John Cena will be in that conversation of popularity-wise.
Undertaker,
yes, Goldberg. Yeah, give it a take. Those guys will be there popularity-wise. But if you were like how you guys are basketball players, you can talk about how
Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan.
Yeah, you can talk them. But then when it gets to details, you guys would be like, well, Kobe was this, Kobe was, so you guys get to detail because you guys know. You guys are ball players. You guys know the difficulty of how ball is. Some guy in the street might say, yeah, man, Allen Iverson's the best. Or like, oh, man, this guy was the best. But you guys actually play basketball. So you guys know the difficulty of the hard work you put in, all that. So, like, majority of ball players will always pick Kobe, right, because of fundamentally how, like, the dude was insane. But it's like, that's how it was with Bret. And it's like, the guys that do it would always go to him. It's like, dude, he made everything look so effortless. Like, he made it, like, in a sport that technically is fake, or to people they say it's fake, he made it look as real as he could possibly get. Like, there was no, like, you would watch Bret Hart and it was like, or like I can watch anybody and be like, oh yeah, I seen that. That was, that was this part, he didn't hit him there. But it was like, you watch a Bret Hart match, every hit, it was like, oh, dude.
That's what my dad always used to talk about.
Yeah, dude.
Bret Hart.
Exactly, man. He was the real deal. It was like any match you watch Bret Hart, you walk away with, like, dude, I thought that was fake. Why did that guy kick his head out? Like, that was Bret Hart matches. Like, my friend at school told me wrestling's fake. This guy just kicked his head out. So it's like Bret Hart is, for me to get that education from that guy. Get out of here, man. That's nuts.
Sky's the limit.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts. And yeah, it's like almost anywhere I go now, it's like people ask me like, hey, who trained you? And I'm like, the original guy that trained me, his name's Lance Storm. He was actually one of the best trainers in the world, but it's like he gets his credit for being one of the best trainers in the world, but he's not Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I was like, Lance Storm trained me, and they're like, oh, well, Lance trained this guy and this guy and that guy and that guy. You know, oh, well, Bret Hart taught me that. Oh, really? And then now the room kind of separates a little. You know, it's like, okay, you guys who all got trained by Lance, but this guy has Bret Hart experience. So please separate the room a little. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes anywhere. But I was like, I'm so fortunate, man. I can't thank that. His family, you know, his youngest son, Blade, who is like one of my good friends, you know, but it's actually, I can't even say his son, but it's like the whole family, his daughters, his sons, his grandkids, everybody, like that family is like, most people, it's funny too, is like most people don't know, other than you guys who are like really good friends of mine, but like other than that, people I see, they don't really know my family. They don't know my mom, they're my siblings, but those, you know, his family does. We've, you know, my family went to their house for barbecues, whatever the situation. So like, yeah, it's like, they're like, I'm as deep as you can get with them in terms of like I'm a family friend to them and they're a family friend to my family. So it's good people, and I'm very fortunate, and I can't thank them enough ever. Like, it doesn't matter how big I get in wrestling or how big I don't get. It's like I can never thank them, man. It's just,
damn.
Yeah.
You got any advice for anybody that's on the fence?
On coming up in wrestling or in general?
In general, just you know, somebody like you who has such a clear vision of who they want to be and where they want to be. You know, what advice do you have for someone that has an idea of where they want to go?
I would. One thing I learned this is all advice is good advice. In terms of the bad advice, take it. You know, you never want to offend anybody. Then, you know, it's in this world, it's kind of funny. You never know what that person could be. You know what I mean? And, you know, if someone gives you advice and you can clearly see that, like, what have you done? Like, where is that advice coming from in terms of, like, I know you didn't do shit, but it's like, they don't have to know that. You know, thanks, man. I'll take the advice. Keep it walking. You know, throw it in the garbage when you leave, if that's the case. You know, but never take all advice, good or bad. And and you learn it because the people that don't have the experience or don't have good advice, their advice comes from somewhere, regardless. You know, you kind of see, like, okay, I see that guy's mindset. I can see where that's why he's not here. That's the kind of mindset he has. And, oh, this guy has this mindset. You know, his advice is really good because he has this mindset. So if you're a good, like, judge of character, of, like, in terms of, like, seeing people and saying, oh, like, you know, Alex told me, yeah, man, you can do this, you know, and you're like, oh, shit, what has Alex done? You know, or, like, you know, I can see why he's telling me to do this. He's never done it. He sits at home, or he does it. You know what I'm saying? That's just hypothetically. It's like, but then Alex on this side tells me, yeah, man, do that, do this. This is what I did. This is what I did. This is what I did. It's like, okay, this guy actually did all these things, and he worked, and I've seen it. So I was like, I can follow exact steps that he just told me.
The blueprint.
Yeah. Whether this guy's just telling me, do that, I did that, and it's like, well, I know you didn't, but you don't have to tell. So I one thing I'd always tell people is, even my little brother, I tell him, it's like, take all advice, you know, especially because you don't know what people can become later on. You never know that person that had the shitty advice a couple years down the road someone might have given them good advice, and they might have changed their outlook, and they might become something, and now it's like you have to rely on them. And it's like, oh, remember when you thought I had shitty advice, dude? Yeah, keep it moving. It's like, but if you, at the end of the day, that's what I would just tell anybody: take advice from everybody, and then assess it yourself. And then, other than that, work, man, work hard. I think that's the one thing. You control your own destiny. That's like a legit fact. I always was one of those guys. I watch everything, which is funny. Like, I watch Joe Rogan. I watch everything I can possibly, things that have absolutely nothing to do with me. I watch it just to kind of see like what the mindset is for that person and why he got there. And it's like,
It's fascinating.
yeah, it's interesting simply because it's like, well, it has absolutely nothing to do with me, but that person is at a platform where I'm watching them, right? So it's like, how the hell did they get there? And how the hell, you know, because clearly I think they're interesting. Clearly I'm, you know, wasting time watching this person, trying to understand this person. So it's like, I watch everything, and that's one thing I'd always tell is like, watch everything. And, you know, you'll learn a lot by watching a lot. Don't limit yourself in what you watch or or the people you look up to, or, you know, the people you try to learn from. It's like, there's no limitation in learning. Always learn from anybody you can possibly learn from, and one thing I'm very high on is elderly people. It's like I always give them the time of day because they know everything. I truly know this. They know everything. I think I know a lot from the time I was 15 to now. I know a hell of a lot. So imagine these people, the experiences they've been through, so everything they tell you, it's not to tell you, it's because they've been through it, they've seen it. So it's like those people, learn from those people. Yeah, that's all I can say, man.
My man.
Yes, sir.
I think next time we'll see you on stage at WrestleMania.
My God, my guy, your guys are out there.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, always.
My guy, appreciate you.
You already know.
Mo Jabari,
Yes,
Kid
sir.
Chocolate.
Yes, sir.
You guys heard it here first.
My guy, we've been trying to do this for a while. We finally got it.
We're here. We're finally here, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. But you guys did see the poll, right? You did see, yeah.
That didn't happen.
That was like five years in the making.
All right, man. That's it. And just like that, man. The Gifted Gab, baby. You know what it is.
Yes, sir.
I'm tired of this thing already. We out.